YouTube, what's going on? It's your boy Cray, and in today's video, I wanted to provide you all with the ultimate beginner's guide to Apex Legends, okay? Now, I know I made one of these about 9 months ago. I could be totally wrong on that. Could have been a year ago. Man, if so, time moves fast. But anyway, I know I made one a while ago, but it's a little bit outdated, and it was a little bit too complex for people just booting up Apex Legends for the very first time. So this guide will be a lot more in-depth. We'll be breaking down gunplay, characters, abilities, weapons, movement, looting, you name it. That will all be broken down in today's beginner's guide, okay? I want to simplify things and make things a lot more beginner friendly for all my beginners out there. Or if you've taken a hiatus from Apex Legends and you're making a return, then this video could definitely be for you. So I don't like all the theatrics. I'm gonna dive right in because this video will be lengthy. I hope you enjoy, and let's go ahead and break it down. Real quick, before we do dive into everything, I want to give you all a little disclaimer that the majority of this guide will be off the dome, right? I love to free flow things, such as my personality, and that helps preserve the authenticity here on this channel. Don't really follow a script, have a little outline right here that will kind of keep me on track, but for the most part, everything is off the dome. So bear with me if I stutter, slow over things, or like how I just slurred over that right there. If I drop the ums here and there, just bear with me. Again, all off the dome. I want this to feel like a conversation between you and I. Real quick, last thing I want to mention is that this video ended up being a lot longer than I initially anticipated. So there are timestamps down below in the descriptions and in the comments for you to go wherever you need to go. Characters, weapons, rotations, whatever, okay? Now, let's go ahead and dive in. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is what is Apex Legends, okay? Now, if you asked me this question a year ago, it was very simple. Right now, the game is starting to evolve, you know? It's in the second stage. If you watch Pokemon, before the game was just Charmander, now it's like Charmeleon, right? It's going to be Charizard one day, and when that happens, I will touch it. But anywho, getting back on track right here, what is Apex Legends, right? The primary game mode of Apex Legends is the Battle Royale, right? You have unranked and ranked game modes, and the Battle Royale is 60 players. It can be in trios, so 20 teams of 3, or duos. You can do, what's that, 30 teams of 2, right? You all drop onto one of 4 maps, right? Try to get loot, try to get guns, heals, things like that, and be the last team standing, right? You can also no-fill, which means you can drop solo, and that can be in either the duos or the trios game mode, but if you're a beginner, please don't do that. Please don't do that. We need our teammates right here, right now, all right? So you have the Battle Royale, again, ranked and unranked, right? You have Arenas mode, which is the 3v3 game mode, right? I like for you to think more of like a 3v3 skirmish, you know what I'm saying? Like a Trials of Osiris with Destiny, you know what I'm saying? Elimination Destiny, or think of like a Valorant without an objective, -2 players on each side. You see what I'm saying? You have an economy where you have to actually purchase weapons every single round, purchase heals, abilities, things like that, and the best team wins, right? The team that defeats the other team wins that round. You have to win by 2. There's overtime rules and things like that, okay? With the overtime rules, you can only go to a best of 9 rounds. So if you guys went back and forth up to round 9 is the sudden death, no holds barred, everything counts right here, right now, round, okay? And also know that there is a ranked and unranked game mode for arenas as well. Last thing to note about arenas is how to get currency. You know what I'm saying? You get currency from kills. You can get currency from these little pods that randomly spawn around the arena's map, right? So you can do things like that. You can get heals from the map, and you can also pick up the loot from an enemy that you went ahead and defeated. And last but not least, there is the 9v9 limited time mode, which I believe will be staying around. I don't think it's going to be an LTM at the end of the day. It's called Control, right? There's 3 teams of 3 on each side, and you guys are fighting over 3 main points. So think of domination in Call of Duty, right? Think of a game mode like that, Control in Destiny 2. Game modes where you're fighting over points, and the team that has majority point holds while defeating other players on the other team end up getting more points, and the goal is to have more points than the opposition by the time limit or hitting the point cap, okay? But as you all can see, Apex is becoming more than just about the BR with arenas, Control, and I can assume there will be more game modes coming in the future. All right, folks, now what you all have been waiting for, it is time for us to talk about weaponry, characters, and abilities. And I'm gonna start with weaponry first and foremost. And what I felt like would be the most simplistic approach for this is for me to literally go through each and every single weapon by ammo type, because that's how it's divvied, and explain things about these weapons as I am showcasing them a little bit. All right, so without further ado, we're just going to jump right in and we're going to start with our snipers. All right, so as you all can see, there are 3 snipers or 3 weapons classified as snipers currently in the game. All right, sniper ammo is this little purpley type of ammo right here, and it got a little sniper bullet right in the middle. All right, well, check out the longbow. Longbow is one of the most deadly snipers because of its fast fire rate and because of its ability to 2-tap anybody in the head. Right, as you all can see right there, no attachments, no scopes or anything. I was able to do 118 to the head, and to the body we do 55. All right, obviously it's a sniper, so it's best used at long range, but something I do like about the longbow is you do have a little bit of an ability, if you're rocking a shorter zoom scope, to use it in close range fights. So if I'm using the 2 times on it right here and I'm fighting this guy, it's easy. Even though I missed a couple shots there, it's easy for me to be able to try to put him or her in the dirt without necessarily needing to switch back and reload whatever amount of the weapon is, because it has a bit faster of a fire rate for a sniper. In fact, I want to say it has the fastest fire rate out of these 3 snipers, or close to. All right, so that is the longbow in a nutshell. Moving on here to the charge rifle. All right, the charge rifle actually shoots a beam-like projectile. It takes 2 bullets as well, so take note of that. Just like that. I wanted to go ahead and reset that dummy here, but as you can see, the initial charge up of the laser does 1 damage per, like, I don't know what the secondary is. Like, I don't know how much damage it does per second. But as you all can see, if I'm like this, you all can see as the laser is charging up, it does 1 tick, 2 tick, 3 ticks, so on and so forth, slowly until it does the big kabooey at the end. And the big kabooey at the end does a burst of damage, right? So the big kabooey at the end, I'm gonna shoot this dude right here. The big kabooey at the end does, I wanna say, about 60 damage. So really, out of any shot you wanna hit with the charge rifle, you wanna make sure that big boom connects with the opposition, right? I think that does 45, because it looked like the charge up did 45 and then the big boom did 45. So figured that out right there. Boom. All right, and the last sniper rifle we have is the Sentinel. This is your bolt action sniper rifle. This will probably be more viable at longer ranges with a long scope on it, because after you shoot a shot, it takes you a second to go ahead, cock that bullet back, or however you do, you know, the little lever action. I don't know what it's called. I'm not a gun expert, so forgive me for that. But as you all can see, when you take a shot, you have to do that little cock back thing. It does 70 to the body, 140 to the head, right? Now, the cool thing about the Sentinel is you can do something called charging it up. When you charge up the Sentinel, 2 shield cells needed. I'll do it just to show you all. You go ahead and charge this baby up with 2 shield cells. Now it's amped. When it's amped to the body, we do 88. And to the head, we do 176. And as you all can see, it fires quicker when it's amped. So you could literally catch people crossing your face, take a shot, take a shot, take a shot, and hopefully get a knock catching somebody off guard while they are just floating around. Okay, so if you are more of a marksman that plays long range, the Sentinel is for you. If you're more of an annoyance, the charge rifle is for you. You can use this again at long ranges because you can just chip damage people. And typically it's a great third-party weapon, because if somebody's 1 bullet and you touch them even a little bit, that 6 might be enough to knock, or that 54, right? And then the longbow is just more so the all-around sniper, good in medium ranges, good in long ranges, so on and so forth. All right, again, friendly reminder, 12 ammo per stack. As you all can see, you can hold 24 sniper rounds per stack before filling up the next spot. Now, I know when I was talking about the snipers, I did not go over attachments. Don't worry, I will go over attachments more so at the end, so I can talk about stock stabilizers, mags, you name it. All right, so I'll talk about that more in depth. Now we're going over to the light ammo weapons. As you all see, light rounds, 20 per stack, and you hold 60 rounds per available slot. All right, we have a nice plethora of weapons. These are not just one weapon type. We have an AR in the form of the R301. We have a pistol in the form of the P2020, and the RE45, I believe, is considered a pistol, a machine pistol at that, right? Fully automatic. semi-automatic. This can be fully automatic or semi, your choice. You have SMGs and the R99 and the alternator as well. So let's talk about these babies. I'm gonna go ahead and get some ammo here. We're going to start with the RE45, one of my favorite weapons. This thing is actually pretty nice, close to somewhat mid-range, not really mid-range because of the way it kicks. So I'm gonna show the recoil pattern without counterbalancing at all. As you can see, that thing climbs up and to the right, and it shoots really fast. So you get a mag on this thing, it's nice. It's real nice, especially with the reload rate. Don't know if you all caught that, but reload this thing pretty darn quick, right? From the hip fire, it's decent. You can do some work hip fire. You're not going to get distance from the hip fire. You're not going to be able to get this done mid-range from it, right? Because the spread widens too much. But I would say in that close range, the RE45 can get busy because of its quick reload rate and your ability to just drop some damage pretty quickly, right? Now, it doesn't do the most damage, 12 to the body, 18 to the head, right? That's the most you're going to get out of it. But if you line up those crits, you can put somebody down really, really fast. I love it. I love it for that regard. It's a way better choice than grabbing the P2020 off of spawn, all right? Speaking of the P2020, what do we have here? The P2020. Semi-automatic, right? That means when you pull the trigger once, it only shoots one bullet, right? And even if you hold the trigger down, only one bullet comes out, right? 18 to the body, 27 to the head with that thing, 14 in a default clip, all right? Now, cool thing about the P2020 is however fast you can click is however fast you can rinse somebody, right? It's okay in that regard, right? It's an okay secondary. The thing that really makes the P2020 is this counterpart called hammer point rounds. All right, now as you all see down in the bottom right corner, when I picked up hammer point rounds, it said increased damage against unshielded enemies. All right, so this guy has no shield. 27 to the body, 41 to the head. Right now, if somebody is shielded, we don't get no more, right? Until that shield breaks. Once that shield breaks, we get more damage. So you would want to combine the P2020 and make it a secondary weapon with those hammer point rounds. You want to break armor with something like this, right? Swap to the P2020 and then go ahead and clean somebody up. So the hammer points were just added back in season 12. So it's great to have them back. And yeah, as you all can see, they can get busy to somebody that's unshielded. Moving on to everybody's favorite weapon, the R301. All right, now this is a weapon you typically want to find a scope for as soon as possible because the iron sights on this thing are kind of cluttered, right? Kind of goofy. You got that triangle reticle, right? You have those little 2 iron sight barrels. And yeah, it can be kind of cluttered when you're really in a close gunfight and you're ADSing with somebody trying to track. It can be kind of funky. So I always recommend grabbing a sight. I would say even practice with the hollow. This is what people don't like using for some reason. I love the hollow, right? Just grab a sight so you can go ahead and get busy, you know? And as you all just seen right there, it is automatic, right? If I press B or whatever button your fire rate swap is binded to, you can make it semi-automatic. So if somebody's super far, like back here,
Let's
right?
go this way.
Pretend somebody back there, I can go ahead and take chip shots at them versus trying to spray a fully automatic weapon, you know, and trying to get that knock from that far away. You know, it's a lot easier to tap fire this thing. And the best combo with this is using the 2 times or the 3 times, right? The 2 times is just nasty in that mid-range, even long range in some cases. And the 3 times is even nastier because if you're really good with lining up those crits, really easy for you to rent somebody, like almost instantly. You can zap people mid-range on controller, mouse and keyboard, whatever. So those 2 sights are probably the best sights when it comes to the R301. Some people rock the 2x4. If you're really cracked, you can get busy with the 2x4. 2x4 is just when you press your toggle zoom button, you zoom in to that 4 times, and you can still get busy. This allows it to be a little bit more mid to long range, but the R301, if you see one, you should always have one. You should always have one. The only reason you shouldn't have one is if you don't see it. Point blank period, okay? Moving on here to one of my favorites, one of the OG weapons, the R99, man. This SMG has, I believe, the fastest fire rate in the game, all right? Nasty in close range, pretty decent from the hip fire. Oh, meant to say that about the R301. R301 is not too bad from the hip fire, but I wouldn't make it a primary hip fire weapon, right? So you can get busy hip fire in this thing, right? You can do it, you know? You can hit fire from this range right here. This is what, about...
Let's relocate here.
I'm trying to see the metric. Come on, man. Ping. Okay, this is about 14 meters away. You see I got a pretty decent hip fire, you know. Can crack armor from this far. That's about 20 meters from where I'm at, you know. Okay. Again, getting back to the R99 though. Just wanted to touch on that hip fire. R99 hip fire is pretty dirty. 200 damage that quick. Mind you, I don't have a mag on this thing, right? Hip fire is pretty crazy. Now, the further back you get, of course, the more sporadic the bullets begin to spread. So ADS of this thing into a hip fire might be your best bet. Just like that, you know? But all in all, the R99, fastest time to kill in close range, bar none. You know, one of my favorite weapons because it does take skill and you have to know when to use it. Some people try to use the R99 way back here, and you can, you know, you can lay some bullets on people, but you're not going to one-clip somebody from that far away unless they're completely idle and you are a recoil controlling master. But you have to know when to use it, and when you do use it, you have to make every bullet count. I love this thing, right? And there's nothing more satisfying than one-clipping somebody with the R99. If you're ADS and hip firing, nothing more satisfying than that, okay? Totally doable with lining up those crits without a mag, but it's a lot easier when you have a mag, of course, okay? Again, one of my go-tos. And the alternator is joining us again. It used to be a care package weapon. I'll talk about care package, blah, 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 blah. I'll talk about care package weapons, which are located all the way down there towards the end of the weapons, okay? So the alternator is a hip fire connoisseur. I think that's how you say the word, okay? Let's just pretend that's how you say it if it's not, all right? What I mean is, if you notice the reticle, you see how it's a dot with two triangles, a greater than and less than, or less than and greater than? I can't remember which one is which, but you see that? That means it has solely a horizontal recoil. That means this weapon is made for hip fire. So if we drop back to that range I said the R99 gets funky at, and we use the alternator, we see so many more alternator bullets hit because the spread is more so horizontal versus vertical, right? So happy to have this weapon back as floor loot because I freaking love it. Whether if you're hip firing, ADSing, crouch spamming, whatever, the alternator is a beast, right? Slower fire rate than the R99, but 16 to the body, 24 to the head. You can crit somebody down real quick. And jumping back to the R99, just want to see 11 to the body, 17 to the head. All right, just wanted to make sure I covered that basis. But alternator, one of my favorite weapons to use in the game. So happy it's back as floor loot. Again, 20 per stack for ammo, 60 per stack per slot. And yeah, that's the light ammo weapons. Not that, I meant to say those because there are more than just one. Anywho, let's go ahead and keep it going. We are moving on to the heavy weapons. As you all see, we have 7 heavy weapons, all right? One thing I did not touch on when I was talking about the light weapons, real quick, is with light ammo comes out the gun faster, but it has more of a bullet drop, all right? Versus heavy ammo weapon, which comes out the barrel slower, but has less of a bullet drop over far ranges, okay? So ammo type actually matters to that degree, and that's what makes Apex Legends mad dope, son. Mad dope, all right? Talk about the weapons. You got the CAR SMG, the Rampage LMG, or light machine gun, the 30-30 repeater, which is a marksman rifle, a pistol called the Wingman, the Prowler Burst PDW, which is also an SMG, the Hemlock Burst AR, and the VK47 Flatline AR, all right? Starting with the CAR SMG. Cool thing about the CAR is the CAR can literally take either heavy or light ammo, and the bullet archetype does not affect the bullet drop off with this weapon, all right? Friendly reminder, 60 per stack for heavy ammo, right? And this is the second fastest fire rate behind the R99, I believe, or their equivalent. Don't quote me if the R99 is the fastest firing weapon. It's either this or the CAR. Don't quote me on that. I'm not a data analyst. I can't give you the exact answer, but as you all can see, it can fire fast. Pretty decent from the hip fire. I'd like to say it's better than the R99 in terms of hip fire, at least from this like 15-meter range. ADS is nice, but as I said about the R301, I would like to grab a scope because you see all that cluster that I just lost when I put a scope on this thing? When you don't have a scope on this thing, you see how I have literally 3 iron sights, the big metal things, my little green thingy, and then the far away little metal things before I get to my reticle. This clusters up my screen a lot when I'm ADS fighting. See how funky that look right there? Now if I put a sight on it, so much easier, so much easier. So I would recommend a sight with the car. The car is nice because, again, it's very flexible in terms of which ammo it uses. So for example, if I pick up light bullets and let's say I ran out of heavy rounds, right? Let's say I ran out of heavy rounds. Oh no, I'm fighting and ran out. Then I could press B to swap to my light round and keep that fight going. So the car is pretty useful in that regard. Once you learn how to control that baby, you are good to go. Because as you all can see, it has a little bit of a kick. A little bit of a kick. Definitely climbs up and climbs to the left just a bit. So if we can counterbalance that, we are in the building. Moving on here, we're going to grab the Rampage LMG. This weapon is one of the most controversial weapons in the game right now. Why? Because I'm going to show you. All right, so let me grab some heavy ammo here. Iron sights on this thing is not that bad at all, but I would prefer to have a scope because it has a slower fire rate, right? So I want to use this thing behind cover, more in a mid-range position, right? I want to use this thing here so I can go ahead and mow somebody down, all right? Now, without recoil control, still pretty manageable. Because the fire rate's so slow, it's easy to just control the kickback, you know? But that aside, this is the reason why it's controversial, okay? So you've seen how slow it fires. Does 26 to the body, 39 to the head. I didn't see what the car did, I'm sorry. Let me go back. 13 to the body, 20 to the head. All right, cool, cool, cool. Covered that basis. Now, this is what makes the Rampage ridiculous. You can grab a thermite grenade, put it inside the Rampage to speed up the fire rate. And once the fire rate is sped up, look. Yeah, you almost double the TTK. And if you land crits, see how quick you can put somebody down? Ridiculous, right? Now, I don't even have a mag on this thing. It's easy to put down 2 fully shielded people, if you don't miss a bullet, of course, while this thing is revved up. That makes it OD, man. And these things are a pain in the butt to fight whenever they're revved up, right? They are beatable, right? Typically what you can do is just wait out a revved up Rampage, but even when it's not revved up, that 26 to the body, 39 to the head hurts. And if somebody gets 3 crits on you, you are booty butt naked. Like no shield, nothing. You are an easy cleanup. And vice versa. If you do that to somebody else, they are easy cleanup for you to switch to your SMG, get up close, and get busy with it. So the Rampage gets wild. It definitely does. Moving on to the Repeater. This is another one of those weapons that I would say you want to grab a scope for. Decent from the hip fire. I mean, not hip fire, but decent from the ADS iron sight standpoint. And actually, it's not bad to use from the hip fire standpoint, right? You're straight fighting somebody and you can't switch back to your other gun or reload that other gun. It's not bad. You can do a decent job hip firing this thing. Even in that 15-meter range, you can still do a decent job. But still, I would like to have a scope for it because the iron sights, as you can see, you got those big, blocky field goal posts right there before you even get to the reticle. But if you grab a sight, they're gone. This thing can get busy. All right, definitely get busy. So the cool thing with the 30-30 is it does 36 to the body, 74 to the head, right, when you just fire. But when you charge up, as you all see those bars went up on my scope, now I do 57 to the body, 100 to the head. This comes built into the weapon, which is actually something that's pretty dope, all right? You also have an attachment called Shatter Caps, which gives you a different hip fire blast pattern, okay? So you can still ADS and do what you need to do. But if you look at the hip fire now, you see how the reticle changed, where before from the hip fire, it was this plus symbol or the cross symbol. You put that attachment on and it's now made a Y. This makes it more of a shotgun. 49 to the body, 63 to the head. You can do your thing. Totally do your thing with this, all right? Now do know that that's only available from the hip fire, all right? And once upon a time, I believe you could ADS it, but I believe that they changed that with a little bit of a rework. Overall, the 30-30 is something that you want to use mid-range with like maybe a 2-time, 3-time, or a 2x4 to really inflict the damage you want and stay safe, all right? Moving on to America's favorite gun, the Wingman, all right? This thing, not bad from the iron sights, but everybody loves a 1-times classic on this joint, all right? That's just what people do. People grab the 1-times classic and they get busy. 45 to the body, 97 to the head, right? Has an attachment called boosted loader, right? When you get faster reloads when you reload at a certain point. So if I fire, and I reload while I'm in that little green bar, it will give me an additional 2 shots as well as, reloading a lot faster. Again, this is everybody's favorite weapon because of its ability to 2-tap to the dome for people that have blue armor or less. And you can 3-tap anybody in the map, right? You can go dome, body, and you can put down pretty much anybody except Gibraltar. But people love the wingman, and it's great for that reason. Hipfire actually is not bad either, at least with those first 2 shots. You don't want to spam hipfire because as you see, the reticle gets wider. You want to kind of pace it. If you pace the hipfire, then you are in the best position possible to land all those hipfire shots when you're straight fighting and getting busy against somebody, okay? Wingman, goated. The Prowler, controller player's best friend, right? The Prowler is a 5-round burst weapon. From the hipfire, 1 burst does 70 to the body. Did I burst everything to the head? Okay. 1 burst, 70 to the body, right? To the head, 84, right? Crazy. Oh no, 105. I'm sorry, I was missing a bullet. 105, right? Because 21 per bullet to the noggin. That is crazy, dude. Crazy. So if you 2-burst somebody into the head, they should be pretty much dead unless they have red armor. Red armor gives you 125 on top of your 100 base health. So yeah, they should be almost dead. Typically, people don't have that. And even if they do, 3 bursts to put somebody down, or literally 3 bursts to the body to put almost anybody down is disgusting. That's without a mag, yo. This is without a magazine, you know? Some people like the iron sights on this. I'm not a big iron sight person for this baby, so I'll grab the 1X Classic or the Hollow, and typically that gives me my best opportunity to get busy. Also, recoil pattern for this thing, just kick straight up. So if you pull down, super easy to control recoil. Crazy, man, crazy. Moving on to the Hemlock, okay? Now the Hemlock has the boosted loader slot for that attachment as well. So the Hemlock is a 3-round burst weapon, or you can switch to fire mode and make it a single tap weapon, which is pretty cool, right? Again, boosted loader, once you get into that green, you reload and you go ahead and you over reload. And for the Hemlock, it's by 6 rounds, okay? Or 2 extra bursts. Cool thing about the Hemlock, to the body, 20, to the head, 35. Burst in this thing, 60 to the body, or if I do the math right, 110 to the head. Ooh, I'm a mathematician. What's up, y'all? What's up, right? Hip fire on this thing is not bad at all because it does have that triangular hip fire pattern, very similar to the R301. I couldn't think of it for a second. So literally, if you line up 2 bursts from a hip fire standpoint, 120 on somebody, your teammate should come and clean that up, or you should be using the Hemlock as a secondary in that type of close range gunfight anyway. So you should be able to clean somebody up with that. No doubt in my mind. Typically 2x, 3x, because this is a weapon that you want to use with a little bit more range, because you do have the ability to lay burst damage, or if you go single fire, you have the ability to just kind of pop in and out behind cover, and it has an incredibly fast fire rate, all right? And the last heavy weapon we're going to talk about, the Flatline, okay? Now, as you all see, the hipfire reticle is the same as the, I almost said alienator, as the alternator, right? Meaning it doesn't have a big vertical recoil. Recoil is mainly horizontal on this thing, right? Nasty. 18 to the body, 32 to the head, okay? Really nasty. You have the ability to switch this to a semi-automatic as well. So if you need to hit somebody long range so you don't have to worry about controlling recoil, you definitely can. And it's nice. I don't know many people that really use its semi-automatic feature, because people are typically hip firing this thing in that close to medium range, right? Because again, it is a nasty weapon to entry frag with or to clean up somebody with, whether if you're ADSing or you're hip firing. And remember, if you go from an ADS to a hip fire, that bullet spread stays tight for a couple rounds in the hip fire, so the Flatline can get dirty. No fancy attachments for it, but yeah, you really don't need much to get busy with the Flatline. Let's move on to the energy weapons, some of the most unique weapons in the game. All right, now I will preface it by saying energy weapons do not have much damage drop off, if any damage drop off at all. 60 rounds per stack, just like the light rounds and the heavy rounds, okay? We have 4 of them. A triple take, which is more of a sniper / shotgun. We have the Devotion LMG. We have the Havoc rifle, AR, right? And the L-Star EMG, or it's another LMG, all right? So starting with the triple take, one of the best weapons in the game, especially in a ranked setting. As you all see, it has the horizontal hip fire reticle. Almost couldn't think of the word, you know? So this thing is nice from a hip fire standpoint. I say it doubles as a shotgun because if you hip fire this thing up close, you can do damage. 63 to the body, And if you hip fire to the head, 111. So yeah, if you can control that hip fire, it gets busy, right? When you ADS, as you all see, when I ADS'd, you see those little clamps tighten up. Those clamps are a choke, right? When those clamps close, goodness, just lost my train of thought. Oh, yes, when those clamps close up all the way, like such, it is a more concentrated shot. Boom, 63 to the body, not 74 to the head. Let me get this guy back. 111 to the head, right? Or it could be more, depending, right? You can turn the choke off, and if you turn the choke off, then you'll see it's just a regular 3-bullet spread. That's why it's called the triple take, right? If you're going for more precise shots, keep the choke on, wait for that thing to charge up, boom, and catch somebody lacking. This thing is phenomenal at long ranges, right? Because if somebody's rotating in the open, you can literally two-tap somebody. Two-tap somebody in the open if you land that crit, right? Well, when it's fully charged. But even if it isn't fully charged, right? Let's say I'm just firing as quick as possible. Let's get this guy back. Still 63 to the body, 95 to the head. Like, you can still put people down super fast. I think the triple take is probably the best sniper in the game, even though it's not classified as a sniper really anymore. Oh, yes, I forgot that the triple take has a new attachment called the kinetic feeder. Okay, the kinetic feeder, it loads rounds and it improves the choke while sliding. All right, so when we slide, we'll see. Okay, so this is the regular speed that the choke tightens up with, right? You see, pretty decent speed. Oops, did not mean to reload. All right, but when we slide down the hill, you see how fast that thing tightened up. Not only that, but you see when we slid, we got ammo back. And that thing tightened super fast. Goodness gracious, that is actually kind of dirty, right? This is my first time seeing the kinetic feeder as I'm explaining it to you all. And that slide is kind of nuts. So the kinetic feeder will be a must-have attachment for this thing, all right? Moving on to the devotion, all right? The devotion and the havoc both have ramp-up speeds, okay? And they have an attachment called turbocharger that increases the ramp-up speed, all right? 1 bullet to the body, 16, 1 to the head, 28, all right? As you all see, regular speed gets pretty fast by the end, right? Pretty decent from the hip fire as well. You don't want to be hip firing this thing far away, right? I would say this is probably max distance at 15 range or 15 meter range because bullets can get sporadic vertically and horizontally. With the turbocharger on though, see how much faster that thing kicked up? Yeah, find you a turbocharger. Find you a turbocharger ASAP, right? I love rocking the 2X on the Devo because I don't want to fight the Devo up close, especially against a shotgun or like an R99 or car user. I'm going to get outgunned, point blank period. But if I'm here in this mid-range, then I have the advantage. Their bullets are going to do less damage, and I have the ability to put somebody down, okay? Recoil for this thing can be a bit goofy, vertical and then to the left, so you've got to really pull down to control and overcorrect the devotion. But pretty clean, all right? Shifting over to the Havoc. The Havoc, same format, just in the AR form, right? The Havoc has a charge-up time, not necessarily a charge-up time to increase speed, but a charge-up time to even shoot a bullet, right? So check this out. You see how it had to warm up before it started shooting bullets, right? Now, if I put the turbocharger on it, almost no charge-up time, almost none. The only time I really get busy with a Havoc is when I have the turbocharger nearby, right? Because this hip fire isn't the best either. It's pretty similar to the devotions. And I'm going to get put down by any other AR user in the game. R301, Flatline, Hemlock, whatever, because of that ramp up time, you know. But if I have a turbocharger, I can do my thing. I can absolutely do my thing, all right? Last energy weapon, L-Star. L-Star right here was very much so controversial for a while because of its big bullet projectile. You see how big those projectiles are? Those things is pretty large, right? Crazy. This thing can still get busy from the hip fire, received a little bit of a nerf, you know, but from the hip fire, it still isn't too bad. I wouldn't say hip fire, gosh, I just lost my train of thought. Oh, yes. I wouldn't say lead off with a hip fire. I would say go from an ADS to a hip fire because of tightening that bullet spread, but it still can hold its own. As you all can see as well, it does not come with a stock mag. So you see how the Havoc has 24 in the mag. The Havoc just has an overheating mechanic, right? And the higher level magazine you pick up, the more bullets you can fire before the overheating mechanic comes into play, okay? This thing still pretty clean. 17 to the body, 30 to the head. You can still fry people if you can control the recoil, and if you're in that close range combat, wild. Havoc, by the way, 18 to the body, 32 to the head, okay? So those are your energy weapons. As I mentioned before, no damage fall off really. 18, as you can see as I'm hitting that sign in the back, and that bullet is straightforward. Not much drop off when it comes to these energy weapons as well. So, yeah. Now let's move on, and we're gonna talk about the shotguns, okay? We're gonna talk about the shotguns. As you all see, there are 4 shotguns. All shotguns, of course. Mozambique, which is like a pistol shotgun. The Peacekeeper, which is all, not pro players, but all like flashy players, like best friends, right? You have the Eva 8 auto shotgun, and then you have the Mastiff shotgun, all right? All these shotguns operate different, okay? The Mozambique, as you all see, we got that triangular hip fire spread. The Mozambique, you can click on the trigger and hold it down for it to keep firing. Just a heads up there. So it is an automatic shotgun pistol, all right? By the way, shotgun ammo, 16 per stack, okay? Cool thing about the Mozambique is you can put hammer points on the Mozambique as well, all right? So the Mozambique to the body, if all 3 bullets hit, it does not 50. It doesn't do 50. This is because I got the hammer point, okay? To the body, it does 45. To the head, we got 57, right? Hammer points to the flesh, to the body, do 60. And to the head, we get 75, okay? So hammer points on the Mozambique are exactly what make the Mozambique, okay? If you don't have hammer points on this thing, it can be a bit difficult. People typically skip over the Mozambique on drop. I would encourage it as well, because you're not gonna get much for your bang unless you have hammer points nearby. Then you just might. Or if you have a shotgun bolt, know that the shotgun bolts, the higher level bolts you get, white is common, blue is rare, and purple is legendary. The higher level bolts you get increases the fire rate for any shotgun. So if you have a purple bolt, makes the Mozambique a lot better. So I would say this is one of those situational weapons. If you can't find any other shotgun whatsoever and you have some pretty good attachments like the hammer points or a high level shotgun bolt, then having a Mozambique might not be too bad, but you want to get one of these other 3 primarily, okay? Peacekeeper, as I mentioned, everybody's favorite shotgun. I'm gonna take the bolt off this just for demonstrative purposes. The Peacekeeper, similar to the triple take, has the choke on it, the precision choke, right? Where if you hold down ADS, you see the shot tightening, the spreads tighten. So if I show you the spread right, okay, it doesn't show up in the sand. If I show you the spread right here, okay, not showing up on the rocks either, whatever. The spread is tightened, so it's almost like a slug round. 99 to the body, 121 to the head. You all can see the pellet spread as well, okay? When I fire, you all can see that pellet spread is tighter. If I hip fire it, it makes more of a, I don't know what type of shape you would call that. Yeah, it just makes a different shape, all right? A very unique shape. If you hip fire it or if you turn the choke off, it's still gonna make that shape as well, all right? So the Peacekeeper is everybody's favorite shotgun because of its ability to do high damage in quick time, right? If I'm running by and I slide, fly by this guy, and I hit him for 113, that can change the tide of a fight. Now this guy is scrambling like, oh shoot, bro, I just got cracked. And then it just takes one more shotgun shot to put that dude in the dirt. Everybody loves, not everybody, but many people love the Peacekeeper for that exact reason. Purple bolt on this thing, you can get the job done pretty darn quick with the Peacekeeper, okay? Switching gears over to the Eva. The Eva is the automatic shotgun. This was everybody's baby for a while, right? Received a little bit of a nerf, so people haven't been rocking with it as much. But the Eva, you can click on the trigger and just hold it down, all right? If you don't have a bolt for this thing, it can be really tough to use. We get 54 to the body, we get 72 to the head, right? No bolt, this is how fast it shoots. Not bad at all, right? Not bad. You put a bolt on it though. Put the purple bolt on there to show you the difference. A lot faster, as you all can see. A lot faster. This is a shotgun you do not want to use at range versus the Peacekeeper. The cool thing with the Peacekeeper that I failed to mention is the Peacekeeper, especially if you charge up that choke, can do damage from far away. This is outside of shotgun range, right? If you got a shotgun out for some reason and you use it from here, okay. Maybe you're just trolling, I don't know. But as you all can see, I can still do damage with that thing from afar. Peacekeeper's ridiculous. Eva, very situational. If you have a bolt near you, you can rock out with it, but I would trade it for a Peacekeeper or Mastiff any given day, all right? And lastly, the Mastiff. Okay, let me take the bolt off this thing. Mastiff is very unique because the crosshairs actually show you the spray pattern of the Mastiff. If you're not ADSing and you're hip firing, the bullets are going to go completely horizontal. 88 to the body, 84 to the head. Oh, only 84 to the head because all the bullets don't hit versus the body, right? Those last two outer bullets hit on the body and then don't hit on the head. Makes sense, makes sense. If you ADS it, the spread fire is different. It's a little bit tighter, as you all can see. Boom, 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 right? At least it feels a little bit tighter. It might not be tighter on paper, but it feels a little bit tighter, right? It's semi-automatic, meaning you can't hold down the shoot button like you can for the Mozambique or the Eva, but you put a bolt on this thing, shoots a lot faster with the bolt on versus that bolt off. Yeah. So all in all, any shotgun you use, you want to find a bolt for that thing ASAP. If not, you got to play cover, take a shot, wait till your weapon has this little cooldown, take another shot. You got to play in that regard. You know what I'm saying? But shotguns are pretty standard. Not really crazy range on the Mastiff like the Peacekeeper, but yeah. I always go pretty much Mastiff first because I'm more consistent with it. Then I'll go Peacekeeper, then Eva, then Mozambique. And lastly, we're going to talk about the special weapons here, all right? I'm going to throw the bow in there just because, like, why not? The bow is not about to have its own little category. So I'm going to throw the bow in there, all right? So we got the bow. Per arrow stack, you can have 32, which is kind of cool. The bow, as you can see, you have the ADS to charge it back. Or not to charge it back, but you can ADS or you can hip fire it. You have to click the shoot button to charge it. You see that little arch down below my reticle? That lets you know when it's fully pulled back. When it's fully pulled back, it will travel the furthest in a straightforward path. As you see, 60 to the body, 105 to the head when fully pulled back. When not fully pulled back, 25 to the body, 31 to the head. So the further back you pull it, the more damage it does, all right? Now let's talk about hop-ups real quick for the bow check, all right? You have Deadeye's Tempo, which when you fire at the perfect moment, it increases the fire rate, right? So see if I can trigger it. As you all can see, my fire rate drastically increased, and when that happened, the little box below the reticle actually lit up blue, right? Boom, 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 right? So when those boxes light up, you fire it at the perfect time, okay? And then you also have shatter caps, similar to with the 30-30 repeater, makes it more of a shotgun. But if you ADS, you still get your regular arrow, okay? The cool thing is you can have both these hop-ups attached at the same time. You don't have to trade one for the other, all right? You can also scope for the bow check as well. So if I put a 3X on this thing, I can zoom in way further than I would without it. Pretty useful, pretty useful. Bows are pretty annoying to fight because they're quiet. You don't know where you're getting shot at from. And if you hit those shots, you can put people down quickly, all right? Bow talk over. Let's talk about the care package weapons, the mythic weapons, or the heirloom level weapons, whatever you want to call them, all right? I want to start with the Spitfire. This used to be floor loot until people complained so much that it ended up going in the care package. Care packages drop in the game after the first round has completed, right? I can't recall exactly when they drop, but they drop at specific times in the match. Typically 3 around the map drop at once, and then I want to say 2 drop. But they just drop randomly around the map, right? And in the care packages, you can have high level armor, you can have high level heals, you can have one of these heirloom weapons drop in there as well, okay? The Spitfire, 16 to the body, 33 to the head, used to terrorize before the Rampage came in, all right? This had to go in the care package to make room for the Rampage. That should let you know how dirty this thing is, right? Yeah, the Spitfire can do that at just about any range. Put people down. LMG, big mag, 55 in the mag. This thing can literally wipe a whole team without reload, even if you miss shots. Because as you all can see, that's 3 people right there, and I still got 13 in the mag. That is dirty. So I think that speaks for itself. Its hip fire is not too bad either. but again, it has that cross spread, so it has a vertical and horizontal recoil. All right. The Volt actually just went into the care package in season 12, the season that's going on right now, because the Volt is an SMG that used to wreak havoc. Okay. As you all can see, that thing is dirty. 17 to the body, 26 to the head, incredibly quick fire rate, consistent recoil pattern. I mean, it speaks for itself. It really does. Oh my gosh, I can't wait to get this baby out of care package. All right, the G7 Scout, which is another marksman rifle, semi-automatic, but it comes with an intrinsic hop-up called double tap, I want to say it's called, where if you shoot it once, it shoots 2 bullets. Nobody uses this. You shouldn't use this either. Okay, so from this position, the fire rate pretty quick, as you all see. 36 to the body, 72 to the head. Yeah, you can 3-tap somebody to the dome with that quick fire rate. Woo-wee. G7 Scout does its thing. And then you have the Holy Grail, the weapon that everybody loves, the Kraber, or a Kraber, of course. All right, you got the Kraber to the body, 145 to the head, 435. There's nobody surviving a dome Kraber shot. Okay, now incredibly slow fire rate, right? You have to go ahead and pull the bolt action or the bolt thingy to in between shots, so it has an incredibly slow fire rate, but you make shots with this thing count. If you hit somebody's limb, right, if I hit somebody in the leg, 116, that's still cracking somebody's armor. That is dirty. People love the Kraber because of its ability to change the tide of a fight in a heartbeat, right? Especially really good players. Even if you're in that mid-range, right, this person's shooting at you, and you just get a quick shot off like that, put them in the dirt, dude, that turns the tide of a fight. So the Kraber, man, it's in a league of its own. All right, now that we went ahead and talked over all the different weapons, let's talk about attachments here real quick. This should be real brief, but it'll make a ton of sense, okay? So there are 5 different types of attachments, of course, right? You have your optics right here. You have your magazines. You have shotgun bolts all the way down there, of course. That's its own little subcategory. You have barrels, you know, you have stocks, and then you have hop-ups, okay? So I'm gonna go over to the light weapons just to kind of give a better breakdown of things. Let's grab the R99, okay? Let's grab this just for sake of example, okay? So barrels are meant to reduce recoil, okay? So let's shoot this guy right here. No recoil control, kicked way up, right? If I grab a barrel, no recoil control, that kick up is a little less drastic, okay? It's a little less drastic and it's a little bit more tight with that purple barrel versus without it. Oh, gotta reload. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, you see what I'm saying? So barrels are there to reduce recoil. Stocks are here to improve handling, reduce aim drift, and actually reduce reload time. So getting a stock is more beneficial than searching for the best barrel stabilizer in the game, right? Because as you all can see, the barrel stabilizer did help, but it wasn't an end-all be-all, right? If I have no stock, we climb there just like that. If I put the stock on, we still climb, reload a smidget faster, and have less sway, right? So it's a lot easier to go ahead and get into a little strafe gunfight when you have that standard stock on, okay? Know that each attachment does have levels. For scopes, it doesn't matter as much. For scopes, it's all about preference, you know? You have white level, which is common. You have blue level, which is rare, purple legendary, and then you have, oh gosh, why am I blanking on the color? I almost said rose, what the heck? Gold, which is, you know, I don't know what you call exotic or whatnot. In the game, they say level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4.
Extended light magazine here. Level 1.
Level 1.
Extended light magazine here. Level 2. Extended light magazine here. Level 3. Extended light magazine here. Level 4.
See what I'm saying? So they're all level. If it makes it easier for you to recognize them by levels, feel free to do so. I recognize by common, rare, legendary, and exotic because I am an OG Destiny player. So, and if you play Destiny, you'll understand what I'm saying in regards to the color scheme. But yeah, attachments are just as simple as that. If you find an attachment, grab the highest level one and put it on your gun, right? Now, you'll see which attachments belongs to which gun, right? By looking in the menu or just looking down in the bottom right-hand corner. So I'll grab the flatline, for example. If I open up my menu, I see that the R99 needs a barrel attachment, mag, optic, and stock, right? And obviously this is a light mag. Heavy mag for the shotgun, optic, and stock only. No barrel stabilizer can fit on the flatline, right? So every single weapon has its own ability to have attachments equipped to it, right? And if I flip it around and I go, not rampage, okay, I go wingman, right? The wingman has a special slot for its hop-up attachment where only a boosted loader would fit for that, okay? So attachments are really simple. No need to freak out over them. No need to overanalyze them. Know that if an attachment will fit, you'll be able to pick it up. If it doesn't fit, it'll just say pick up, right? So like you see right here, it says to attach, press F. Right here, shatter caps, which don't fit on a wingman, does not say that. It just says pick up. So it goes in my inventory. Attach, pick up, two different things. Attach, 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 pick up, pick up, pick up, right? So attachments, yeah, no need to overcomplicate things. No need to think that they are this big intricate system. They're not. They're not. Just find them for your gun and put them on it. And the last thing I want to talk about in regards to the weapons, and this was something I should have touched on per weapon when I was talking about them, but it slipped my mind. You guys know I'm free flowing. I apologize for that. So I'm gonna touch on this real quick. All right, it's recoil patterns. Okay, know every recoil pattern per each gun is different. Okay, so the flatlines recoil pattern, as you all can see, is almost like an S, like an inverted S, versus the R301, which goes up and then to the right and then to the left, right? So the simplest way to control recoil, especially if you're a controller player, learning the game and figuring it out, is one of two things, right? Pull down on the analog stick, or if you're on keyboard and mouse, pull down on the mouse, right? Just pull down ever so slightly. It's going to take you a little bit to learn this and to figure this out. That's totally fine. But come in the training range and figure it out, right? Pull down slightly, and once you get used to pulling down slightly, more so for controller players, throw in a little strafe. Because what the strafe is going to do is help you counterbalance the horizontal recoil. So all you have to do is pull down on that stick or on that mouse to control the vertical recoil, right? And it's for this, or excuse me, it's like this for every weapon, okay? Certain weapons you have to pull a little harder. Certain weapons you don't have to pull as hard. Depending on your sensitivity, you might have to pull harder, you might have to pull lighter. At the end of the day, a slight pull down and a strafe will go a long way to controlling recoil pattern. If you all want me to talk about recoil patterns more in depth, break them all down, I can do so in a separate video. But this video is already like 10 hours long, so I want to go ahead and move on to the characters and discuss those with you. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, folks, the moment you all have been waiting for, part 2, the characters. There are 20 characters in Apex Legends now, which is crazy. I remember when it was just these 8 right here. Now we got 20. That is wild. We're going to touch on these characters, give a little quick explanation of them, and then move on to the next, because I don't want to keep you here all too long, and I have many individual character guides on my channel for you to check at your own convenience. All right, so we're going to get started with Bloodhound. Okay, Bloodhound is a recon legend, has the ability to scan enemies up to a 75-meter range. When you scan them, as you see, they pop up on the map like that, and Bloodhound's ultimate ability is called Beast of the Hunt. When you pop Beast of the Hunt,
calling upon nature's strength,
as you see, everything grays out except enemies. Enemies are highlighted in red, okay? Every knock you get on an enemy is supposed to increase your Beast of the Hunt time by 5 seconds, which is pretty dope. Bloodhound also moves, I think, up to 30% faster in this state, which makes you a superhero pretty much for 30 seconds. Your scans come back a lot faster. As you see, your scans come back in 8 seconds versus the usual 25, and you can get busy. Bloodhound is great for aggressive plays in this Beast of the Hunt mode, and great for instant recon in this mode. Like, it's crazy. You can run around the map, scan all you want, get a knock, run behind a building, fly off the map, do whatever you want because you got that speed boost. And remember, every knock you get extends it, right? Every second counts when you're in Beast of the Hunt with Bloodhound. It's crazy. Oh yeah, Bloodhound's passive. Bloodhound has the ability to track where enemies have been up to a 90-second period. So if there was an enemy that ran through here, it ran up the rocks, you can literally see footsteps and it'll say 20 seconds ago, 30 seconds ago, whatever the case may be, and you can trail enemies and you can get recon info that way. It's really crazy. You can ping it as well, so you can let everybody know if you're playing with randoms. And yeah, Bloodhound is honestly the ultimate recon legend. Let's talk about Gibraltar, big homie Gibby. All right, Gibby has a passive ability, well, kind of 2 passives. One called Fortified, which means he takes 15% less damage than every other legend in the game, other than Caustic, because Caustic has Fortified as well. And he has a gun shield. When you ADS, see that gun shield pop up? Yeah. If somebody shoots at you, it can tank 50 damage before they even hit you. But they can still hit your head and hit your feet. So know that that gun shield can be shot around. But mid-torso, nah, you protect it for up to 50 damage. All right, super good in that regard. Gibby has a dome of protection, which when you throw it,
shield up.
it gives you this dome for, I believe, 13 seconds. So you can get a res off, pop a battery, get a Phoenix kit off, whatever, before you rotate out. Or if you're strategic, you can throw it up a hill, run into it, run behind it, because they can't penetrate it at all unless you're Mad Maggie with Mad Maggie's tactical, right? Gibby's ultimate, the ultimate bombardment, it's a little grenade thing. When you throw it,
calling the airstrike.
It calls an airstrike in within that proximity, right? So these airstrike falls and it hits people, it does 40 damage, and as you can see, it can hurt you as well, as I just got hit by it. Anybody hit by it gets slowed as well, and yeah, it puts out DPS. Gibby is crazy, and Gibby is meta when it comes to competitive Apex Legends, and yeah, I hope y'all can see why. Moving on to Lifeline. Lifeline is the ultimate combat medic, okay? Her passive ability allows you to revive a teammate with her drone while you can still stand around, defend, do whatever you want. So pretend this is a down teammate. You can literally just hold down the res button. Your drone will deploy. It'll res while you can still go ahead and fight other people. Get your teammate up. Teammate can go behind there, pop a bat, do whatever they need to do, you know? Super good, right? Her tactical ability drops her robot. The robot, Doc, her little homie, actually gives you health as you're standing in it, right? So if I hurt myself, I can pop a bat while using Doc and replenish my health and shields at the same time. So pretty useful in that regard. And then her ultimate ability.
Is it my birthday already?
She calls in a birthday, please. A care package. All right, she calls in a care package, and in this care package, it usually comes with heals and possible attachments that you may need for your weapons. Okay, so as this thing lands right here, open it up. As you see, knockdown shield, boom, armor, boom, attachment, boom, heals, boom, and you're good to go. You're good to fight another battle. So Lifeline is the ultimate support character in that regard. You all can get heals at an instant, better armor, attachments. Somebody gets knocked, she can get the res, you name it. Lifeline is there. Let's talk about Pathfinder a little bit, all right? Pathfinder is the Spider-Man of Apex Legends in the form of a funny robot, all right? Passive ability allows for you, whenever you scan a survey beacon, if you are unaware, any recon character can scan a survey beacon and let you know where the next ring location will be, okay? Whenever you scan one, it reduces his ultimate cooldown time by, I wanna say, I can't recall, forgive me. I want to say 10 seconds. So it'll recharge faster and faster and faster the more you scan, which isn't bad, but a lot of people are calling for a rework. I kind of feel that, all right? His tactical ability is literally a Spider-Man grappling hook. So for example, let me get something to grapple on. Grapple on this rock right here. I can swing around however I want. That allows me to get in a better position. That allows me to take aggro and make the opposition shoot at me while my other teammates may flank or do whatever they need to do to get in position to wash somebody. You know what I'm saying? The grappling hook is clean, super duper clean. And his ultimate ability actually gives you a zip line. So if you all are trying to get the high ground, shoot the zip line, you and your teammates can get up the high ground and get busy. Yeah, Pathfinder, pretty lit as a support character, pretty fun to play with his grappling hook. And yeah, you can cause a lot of mayhem with him. True that. Wraith, everybody, well not everybody, but let's say every sweaty player's favorite character because of her small stature, her ability to get in and out of situations, and her ability to just almost do it all, right? She has a passive ability that literally gives you an audio cue whenever an enemy is aiming at you. Like she'll say danger, whatever. She'll just let you know, I think somebody's looking at me, whatever the case may be. And if that's the case, you can relocate, get back behind cover, do what you need to do to get out of that situation. Kind of busted, man, kind of busted. When you're talking about her tactical ability is called Into the Void, right? It takes about 1.5 seconds to proc. But when it procs, you become untouchable for about 4 seconds with a little bit of a speed boost to get out of a situation, right? So if this guy's shooting at me, I can pop it. I can get out of here, hit the zip line, and, you know, be up through, right? Now, I will say when you do use that, it leaves behind a little bit of like a smoke screen trail, so somebody could follow you. But if you use it in a strategic manner, if you do something like run behind cover, jump up a rock, and then jump somewhere else while using that ability, like boom, 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 you might be able to juke somebody and get to safety, you know? So that's super useful. And then her portal ability is great for pushing a fight or getting your teammates out of a fight, right? So if I'm pushing a fight and the fight's right there,
Let's explore this way.
I can pop port just like this. I can go into the void, dodge this guy right here, closed port
set the
right
portal.
there. Boom, we can fight. If I get cracked, I can drop back, throw an arc star or throw a throwable right there, pop a battery. So if somebody comes through the port, they get hit by my throwable, right? Pop my battery, get a kill right here. You see what I'm saying? You can do so much in that regard, right? Or if my teammate is knocked over there, I pop that portal to go pick up my teammate. They come back through the portal, I get the res off, and then we get back in the fight, just like this. Super easy to do, super fun to do. Wraith is great for just about everything. Now let's talk about my favorite character in the game, Bangalore. Okay, now I will say Bangalore is a jack of all trades and a master of none, unfortunately. Okay, Bangalore's passive ability is whenever she gets shot at, her speed increases for a short moment of time by 30%. So she moves a lot faster, right? And it can proc on multiple occasions. So it can proc, deproc, proc, deproc, proc, deproc, back to back to back, which makes her practically a speed demon. Like, it's super dope and super useful in gunfights to have that double time proc, okay? Her tactical ability actually shoots a smoke screen.
Pop in the chimney.
Just like that. It does 10 damage if it hits the opposition, which is cool. But also it pops a smoke screen, so if you run through it, typically you can't get spotted, right? It's very difficult to see anything through that smoke screen at all, you know? Also, it breaks aim assist. If you're a controller player shooting at somebody in the smoke, you have no aim assist, buddy. Sorry. But I will say it's a little whack now because there are so many recon characters. You got Bloodhound, Crypto, Seer, Mad Maggie with her passive ability. Like, it's kind of like blah now. So hopefully they tune that a little bit to make the smoke ability a bit better in the future, but I digress. All right, her ultimate ability kind of similar to Gibraltar's, but a lot slower. It's called Rolling Thunder. So as you can see, these explosive pylons drop for up to 75 meters, I believe, or 100 meters. And then they explode, right? When they explode, they do slow you down, as you all can see. And they're timed explosives. So after they all land, they explode, I want to say 4 seconds later, 3 or 4 seconds later. Don't quote me on that, but they explode, and they're great for creating separation between you and the opposition. Or if you have a knock, or you know that there's a third party, or excuse me, you're trying to be the third party, drop her ult on it, push in, get busy. Bangalore, fun to play with and great for moments like that. Let's talk about Gas Daddy now, that boy Caustic, okay? Caustic is all about poison and gas, okay? So his passive ability has to do with his gas. Whenever there are enemies in the gas, he has an ability to see them a lot easier than anybody else would be able to, right? His tactical ability is a gas trap.
Leaving a gas trap behind.
As you can see, if an enemy runs near the gas trap,
clear.
it pops and it does 5 damage, then 6 damage, then 7 damage, and it goes all the way up to 10. 10 is the max, I believe, right? No, his gas traps can be destroyed now, but when they are destroyed, the gas still remains for about 2 additional seconds, all right? The gas traps have a health pool of 150 only after they've been procced, right? So if they aren't procced,
gas trap,
and somebody shoots the bottom of them, they just completely deproc just like that, okay? His ultimate ability is a gas grenade, right? He throws a cloud of gas that covers an area, and same rules apply, right? Just as the gas trap. It does 2 ticks of 5, then 2 ticks of 6, then 7, all the way up to 10. And it's great for area denial. It's great for third partying. It's great for so many instances that, yeah, Caustic, especially in close range and close quarters combat, can be dirty. No pun intended, though. All right, let's talk Mirage, okay? Mirage, now, he's more of a parody character to use versus using actually serious, but I will say, if you do utilize him and you use him right, you can do a lot of great things with this dude, man. A lot of great things, okay? His passive turns you invisible as you revive, right? Or if you're using a respawn beacon, you turn invisible. So useful, so useful, right? His tactical ability actually summons a clone of himself, right? Or a decoy of himself. You can control it by pressing whatever that button is on your controller or mouse and keyboard, right? And it will mimic everything you do. And it has a little health pool, right? So when people shoot it, it can take bullets, right? The bullets do go through it, though. So if you're standing directly behind it and it gets shot, you can still get hit by it. But it has a health pool, I think, of 60 health, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on that. But super nice, super good when you're trying to get out of funky situations. Just go ahead and pop a decoy one way, run the other way, control it to make it think, or excuse me, to make the opposition think that it's you, and get away from there, right? His ultimate ability is a spin off of that.
Decoy escape deployed.
It's called Decoy Escape, and as you see, all he does is pop decoys in all different directions. right? So when he does that, he turns invisible for a split second as well. So you can get out of the situation, get out of the fight, heal up, do what you need to do to get back in the situation and get busy. So he is the ultimate shadow clone master, other than Naruto Uzumaki. If you watch Naruto, you know what I'm saying there. If not, I'm sorry, I just nerded out for you. But yeah, Mirage is a blast to play with, and yeah, he's a blast. The homie Octane, man, the speed demon himself, okay, has a passive ability. Whenever he's hurt and he's not taking damage for a while, his health passively regens, right? His tactical ability hits himself with a stem to move faster, and that is exactly what you can do, right? Pretty straightforward. And as you all can see, that passive ability kicks in, and since I'm not taking damage, he's healing up, right? And his ultimate ability drops a jump pad. If you slide into the jump pad, then you traject further, where if you just run into the jump pad without sliding, then you have more of a vertical arc. Okay, so that's pretty cool. He's great for rotations, great for gunfights, great for entry fragging because he can get in there and he can get out of there. There's that regular vertical arc that I just mentioned. And yeah, I mean, he is really incredible when it comes to getting in, fighting, getting out, getting teammates out, rotating, you name it. Octane has become meta. Now let's talk about Watson a bit, okay? Watson's passive is actually kind of cool. If she pops an ultimate accelerant, then she gets her ultimate back right away, and she can stack 2 ultimate accelerants as well, which is pretty cool. Also, she has a very slow shield regen, so let me see if I can demo it. So let's pretend I got hit with this arc star. Ouch, that hurts. If you wait a little bit and you don't take damage, you'll notice her shield starts to naturally go up on its own, all right? Now, Watson is a high skill gap player, or excuse me, character, because of her kit, all right? Now, her tactical ability, she places fences that can connect, and you can drop 4 at a time, right, before they recharge, and you can have up to 9 on the field, I believe. Now, if you drop her ultimate, which is a trophy system pylon, you see her shield regenerating from the pylon, right? And her tactical ability comes back faster. So if we wanted to, we can continue extending this node, right? We can build off it.
Fence placed.
And we can have an ultimate fence to protect us, right? While regenerating our shield. So Watson is great for holding buildings and stuff in this regard. Also, her pylon blocks throwables. I don't know if they block your team's throwables. Let's see.
Tossing an
No, they don't block your team's throwables, so that's really good to know, okay? But if somebody throws a throwable at you, or a caustic ult, Gibby ult, whatever, and it comes near this pylon, it'll get zapped out the air. So Watson is the ultimate defense for that regard. Let's keep it pushing and talk about the homie Crypto, all right? Crypto just got a little bit of a, not a big rework, but just a little bit of a change, okay? Before, whenever he activated his drone using his tactical ability, he had to go into the drone before disconnecting, okay? Now, Crypto can literally just throw his drone in a location just like that and be able to get quick recon info on whatever is in proximity, which is pretty cool. And then you could still enter the drone on your own
Switching to
accord
drone view. Watch my back. Backing out of my drone.
and still
I'm good
gain
to go.
intel on whatever's in the area, okay? Now, the drone can scan pretty much anything that's well within its proximity, okay? So I could be back here and you see that character still lighting up. It's not like Bloodhound that goes away after a second, but it stays there as long as the drone's alive, right? The drone has a 60 HP health pool, I believe, but it can't be destroyed. If it gets destroyed, you have to wait for it to come back, right? If you press the ultimate ability,
Executing reboot.
then he goes ahead and he drops an EMP that destroys 50 shield on anybody in proximity except teammates, but it will hit yourself, okay? So Crypto's another one with a high skill ceiling, and that you have to use in a very strategic manner, okay? If you press your
Signaling my drone
recon
back.
button, then he just calls the drone back and you're good to go, okay? Now the drone you can throw pretty much anywhere.
Adding an extra pair of
See, I threw the
eyes.
drone in the air like that, and it gives me quick recon info, and we can go ahead and get busy. So Crypto is now more viable. You used to have to just sit in the corner with him and move the drone, and then go back to him, and go back to the drone, back to him, back to the drone. But now you can use him a little bit more strategically, which I like a lot. Now we're going to talk about Revenant. Okay, the season 4 legend that came in and wreaked havoc. All right, Revenant's passive ability allows him to climb heights higher than anybody else could. Where people would have a climb cooldown, he can keep going, which is pretty cool, right? So let's check it out. Climb, 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 climb. And he can keep going for a little bit longer, which is actually kind of nuts, right? Also, when you're crouch walking with him, he crouch walks faster than any other legend in the game. So pretty cool, pretty cool. He has a passive, not a passive, excuse me, a tactical ability called Silence, which when you throw it, it tells you to shut up, of course. And when you get hit by it, your abilities are not usable for 20 seconds, right? So your tactical or ultimate, you can't use at all. You are out booty butt naked. When he connects with that thing, you are in the worst position possible. You need to extend the fight and try to wait for that thing to go away so you can get out of there if need be, right? And not having your abilities just, it sucks because Apex Legends is built around abilities. So he's great in that regard. Also, his ultimate ability is called Death Totem. When you enter Death Protection, now your shield is not touchable, but your health is, right? So you can go and fight. But once your health pool is depleted, once your health pool is depleted, you respawn back at the Death Totem, okay? So boom, back at the totem, but I still have 50 health, so I'm cool, right? Be careful with this though. If you put it in an open location like this, let's say there was an enemy right there, they could wait for me to spawn back here and then rinse me, right? So you want to put it in a secure location so you can make sure you're safe and sound. If you do that, Revenant can get busy, and he's a good team player. When you team up with like an Octane or a Wraith, then you all can jump pad push or portal push in the Death Protection, right? And basically have a free fight. You know, if you get a knock, great. Go back to the Death Totem, go back, hit the jump pad or hit the portal and re-enter the fight. It is so annoying to combat, but it's great when you are on the Revenant side of things. It's time we talk about my homegirl, Loba. Okay, Loba's passive ability allows her to see any purple or gold item pretty far away, or heirloom level, mythic, whatever you want to call it, pretty far away. So as you all can see, I can see everything through this rock, if it's a purple, gold, or a red item, right? And I can even ping it as well. So you see, I can see through this wall.
Optics
I
here.
can ping that that's a
Close
digital
range.
threat, right? So super cool in that regard. Her Q throws her bracelet and allows her to transport to
Throwing
wherever
jump
her
drive.
bracelet goes. So I can run this way, boom, bracelet drops over there, we out, right? Now, if you guys noticed, I had a little bit of a cooldown when I put her bracelet back on. So you can't just throw it onto a team and expect to just shoot the moment you land. You have to throw it strategically, throw it behind cover up on somebody if you plan on pushing somebody in that regard, wait for the animation to cancel, and then pull your gun out and get busy, right? Her ultimate ability is so useful, Black Market Boutique. Oh wait, what just happened? Oh, I'm goofy. All right, so when you throw this thing down,
Setting up shop.
you can check it out, and you can pull 2 items from this, right? You can pull unlimited ammo. So if I need an ammo, I can keep pulling ammo as much as I want, right? But you can pull 2 items. They can be backpacks, they can be weapons, they can be heals, whatever the case may be. And she gets this thing back pretty quick, right? So as I'm sitting here discussing it, if I leave, you see it's already back at 22%. Yeah, that thing recharges rather quick. Loba is great for in-game, especially when you need heals, bullets, things of that nature. Pop a Loba ult, get what you need, and you are kitted to win the game. The homegirl, Rampart. Rampart's passive ability has to do with LMGs, right? So if I pick up an LMG, let's do it real quick. You'll notice that her
nothing
mag
does me better
capacity
than
is
an
increased
LMG.
and you have faster reload, right? So if I do that right there, do that right there, and I go and reload this thing, that's a lot faster than if I wasn't Rampart, okay? So of course, LMGs, Spitfire, Devotion, Rampage, she gets busy with, okay? Now the Spitfire,
right. Now
she does
this
not
is what
get
I'm talking
increased
about.
mag, but the reload is faster, okay? And that's because it is, oh no, I lied. She does, 63. I thought she didn't. That is good to know. Her Q ability, or not her Q, her tactical ability allows you to place cover.
Tossing up
okay?
some amps cover.
She can place 3 of these before she has to recharge. And these make bullets stronger as you shoot behind them. Gotta be blue side though. If it's red side, you're going to take the bullets. Blue side, you're shooting, okay? So without it, 19 to the body. With it, 23 to the body. 40 to the head, 33 to the head. See what I'm saying there? Yeah. You put up this cover, it is nice. And it's great whenever you're trying to get away from a situation. It also has a pretty decent health pool once it has completely extended as well. So as we can see, it can tank up to 400 damage, which is kind of OD. But if we just place it,
Putting up some amps
and we
cover.
shoot it, it can be destroyed. And it has this very small health pool, right? It has to fully extend. And her ultimate, Sheila, the minigun that she pulls out of her back pocket, is ridiculous, okay? You can place it stationary if you want to, or you can walk around with it now, right? This was changed, I think, in Season 11. I can't recall. I want to say it was Season 11. Before, you had to be stationary with it. But now, you can hit fire this thing, or you can ADS it. It does have a bit of a charge-up time. I will openly admit that. But if you get it charging, yeah, it gets busy, right? If you try to hit fire it, right, you gotta wait to ADS, and then it goes that way. But if you ADS it ahead of time, catch somebody around the corner, dirty. You can also zoom in on this thing as well. Yeah.
Keep your mess out of the fast lane, plonkers.
Yeah, as you can see, Rampart is nuts. Very fun to use, not practical in every situation, but definitely a good time. We're moving on to Horizon. Homegirl that released in Season 7. Horizon is a very fun character to use, even though she's received a little bit of a nerf. At first, it was a big nerf, and then they kind of peeled back on that nerf. So she's pretty decent to use. Not always practical, but pretty solid, okay? Her passive ability allows you to kind of just bounce off of surfaces you land. You don't have a landing cooldown like you would with any other character, all right? So I'll show you an example with her tactical ability.
Dinner fast yourself.
Her tactical ability
Here's a
can
pick-me-up.
levitate you like this, which is super cool. And if I jumped off it, typically when I land, I would not be able to slide like that. I would have a cooldown, I would land, boom, and then I could keep moving. But with her, she can kind of hit and keep sliding. And the more sharp of angles that you land on, like if I landed on right here, then her slide would be faster in a degree, right? It's all using momentum, which is kind of cool. Can I do something? Okay, no, I couldn't do nothing. Sorry about that. Her ultimate ability is lit as well. It's like a black hole. So if I throw it right there, everything within this proximity gets sucked in towards the center of that, right? And as it gets sucked in towards the center of it, enemies are highlighted. So you can spam grenades in the center and everything, and the enemies, the grenades, and everybody will just cluster like this, kabloo, and then you are good to go. So Horizon in close quarters can be deadly in that regard, or she can create area denial by dropping her ultimate and allowing you all to escape to live and fight another day. So Horizon, pretty cool, not always practical, as I said for several characters prior, but a good time. Fuse, the Season 8 legend that came in the game. We're starting to see more of Fuse out in the wild now, which is actually kind of cool. When he came out, everybody was like, he's trash, but now people are starting to rock with him, which, again, I think that's pretty slick with it, all right? Fuse's passive ability allows him to be able to stack grenades. Typically, you can't, but you see he can hold 2 of each grenade in his inventory, and also he can launch them further because he has his cannon arm. So I can launch it just like that. I can launch that thing all the way over there without much issue. Where if I was just throwing it, let me show you all what that looked like. So if I press 3, I can just throw it. I can't make it that far. But if I have his arm cannon, I can make it as far as I want. So Fuse is pretty lit in that regard. Tactical ability called Knuckle Cluster, great for area denial, but also great for getting chip damage on people. As you see, you can do quite a bit of damage on somebody if they're one bullet and you Knuckle Cluster around the corner, you can get the knock typically. His ultimate ability, called the Mother Load, it creates a fire circle around enemies. And enemies inside the circle can get highlighted, so you know who all is in the circle at one time. If they touch the fire, they're going to get burnt up. They're going to get burnt up. As you can see, even when I touch my own fire, I get sizzled. You see, I just lost 3 bars, 75 health that quick. So people don't want to touch it, especially if they're one shot, they're going to get knocked. Fuse is starting to become more rampant in the wild, and I'm very interested to see what people do with him in the near future. Let's talk Valkyrie, the walking cheat code. Why? Because her passive ability lets her freaking fly, man. Like, come on, dude. You can get the high ground so easy with her. It is absolutely ridiculous, right? Her tactical ability shoots these mini arc rockets that act as if an arc star,
sending the payload.
or act like an arc star, I should say, right? And when you get hit by that, you're stunned as if you got hit with an arc star. Doesn't do a ton of damage. Does, I want to say, 25 damage on first impact, and any other rocket that hits you beyond that does an extra 3 damage. So nothing crazy at all, right? Mind you, you can redeploy
Pillar
with
5,
her.
Valkyrie on standby, ready for burn. Burn is a go.
So you just go ahead, fly up as if you hit a jump tower, and redeploy
Make
wherever
sure
you
seat
want.
backs, tray
As you're
tables, and
redeploying with
automatic
her, or if
weapons
you're
are
jumping
in
out
their
of the
full
dropship, you
upright
can see
positions.
enemies pinged on her radar, which is actually kind of lit. That's why the screen looks different in that drop point right there, you know, or excuse me, dropping from the sky like that. So Valkyrie can give you recon info. She's considered to be a recon character when she redeploys. She has rockets that stun people, and she can fly.
Wings out.
It's safe to say she is meta AF, yo. Yeah. Moving on to the homie Seer, man. Seer is somebody that came out busted. They nerfed him to the ground, and now nobody really plays him as much. But I think he still has viability, right? His passive ability, whenever you ADS, shows you where an enemy is located. So you see his blue right there, and you see there's like little pulses, like yellow pulses happening. That lets you know an enemy's in that direction. So I keep looking, keep looking, keep looking. Boom. When it's golden, I know an enemy's there. And when an enemy's there, I can use his tactical ability.
Look beyond the veil.
To scan them. When I scan them, their health bar pops up above their name. So it gives me info on what armor they have and what their health is looking like. So if somebody's one shot, it's really easy for me to say, oh yeah, dude's one shot right there, you know. Everybody can see him. They go and fly him. Then they wash him up. You see what I'm saying? His ultimate ability, he literally drops his chest piece and gives you a dome. So if anybody moves fast in this dome, their footsteps and their whole silhouette is showing. So if this person was running back here, I would be able to see exactly where they are as long as they remain within the circle, right? And it will also tell me how many enemies are detected within the circle, which is pretty cool. Now, no, it can be destroyed, right? Somebody can peek out and shoot this thing and destroy it. I can't because it's mine, obviously. So when you throw it, you want to make sure you throw it somewhere behind cover as well. But Seer is very useful in close quarter combat, not really in big open fields because it's easy to escape his ultimate ability and it's easy to dodge his tactical ability. But close quarter combat, Seer for recon, yeah, he can still work it. Trust me. Down to the last two legends, let's talk about Ashe, the legend that came out last season, all right? Passive ability, she has the ability to scan death boxes to see if the people that killed that particular person are still alive. And if they are still alive, then they'll ping on the map for a split second. So let's say there's a death box right here. I go ahead and scan it and it pops up on the map and I come to find out the opposition is right there. We now have a choice. We can go fight them, or if they're too close to us and they're pushing us, whatever, then we can go ahead and get out of that situation. So Ashe is pretty nice for recon in that regard, right? Her tactical ability, she throws this arc snare that will bind an enemy, right? And if they hit them, they get hit for 20, and they cannot leave that snare while it is still active. So they can run, but it'll literally be like they're running into this wall because they can't go nowhere. Easy claps when you snare somebody, or if you need to cover your ground, if you're running from somebody, right? You can just drop an arc snare back there and they cannot keep pursuing you for a short period of time. That can give you the opportunity to get out of there, right? And her ultimate ability, pretty slick with it. She pulls out her sword and she creates a phase tear at a particular location. You see the little arrow thingy? It tells you where she's going to phase tear to, which is kind of slick with it, right? So if I'm getting chased by somebody, I need to get out of there real quick.
Phase tear ready.
I can phase tear, get up here and be cool, right? Now if they follow me in the phase tear, I got the advantage. I can start shooting before they even come out and I can, you know what I'm saying, put them down. Unlike Wraith, hers is only one way, so I can't go back through it. You can only enter it there and it only lasts for 15 seconds. So if you do time it right, gosh, excuse me, stumbling over my words. If you time it right, then you can get away from an opposition without much trade-off and the portal closes and you're good to go. So Ashe is multi-purposeful, if that's a word, fun to use, and does have her moments. She isn't the most useful. A lot of people will play Wraith over her because of the dual portal, right? You can enter and exit wherever, but Ashe is still a good backup to a Wraith. And the last character we're going to talk about just came out today, Mad Maggie. All right, she has a passive ability where if she damages somebody, she can see where they are for a period of time, all right? Now, of course, that's not going to proc here in the training range, but out in the wild, when you hit somebody, they'll illuminate red, I believe, for a period of time, which is pretty slick with it, right? Her tactical ability allows you to damage people through walls, Gibby's through his bubble, and yeah, it's kind of ridiculous, right? So, for example, if you're facing a caustic team, you're barricaded inside a building, you could literally drop her tactical ability, right?
Drilling through.
And you can damage through that wall. Crazy. And it does some pretty decent damage. So if somebody ran away from you one shot, you can use her tactical ability and you can damage cats on the other side, which is just ridiculous, right? Ridiculous, okay? Also, part of her passive ability, she has something called Warlord Movement, where she has faster movement when she has a shotgun. So she moves faster with this thing out. Does she move faster than she does without a weapon, though? Let's see. So she's running, shotgun out. It's about the same speed. So you can run out with a shotgun about the same speed as if you had your weapons put away, which is good to know. Definitely good to know. Her ultimate ability drops this wrecking ball like thing.
Wrecking balls going
So as you
wild.
see, it hits people, but also it drops these nodes that will give you a bit of a speed boost. So you can use it to not only but to chase somebody down, but you also get these temporary speed boosts to really hawk that person down. Like, dude, what? Who made this character, man? Ridiculous. I do not know how Mad Maggie will be used often in the wild, but I'm very interested to see by the end of the season how people play her, metas, things like that, because she's going to be ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Now that we've discussed everything weapons and characters, I want to leave you all with some things that you all need to keep in mind as you play Apex Legends, all right? The first thing I want to talk about is fights, and more specifically, when to take fights, all right? Now, as you're beginning in Apex Legends, you got to know when to take fights, because if you don't, you will lose 9 times out of 10. I can promise you that, okay? So the times when you should take fights are when you have better positioning. This means you can have the high ground on an enemy team, or you just have more cover than they do, right? When you catch a team completely off guard, now this is something I don't quite recommend, because in Apex it's very difficult to catch somebody completely off guard, especially with all the recon abilities that are currently in the game, you know, or third partying, right? And again, if you didn't hear me earlier, third partying is when there are 2 teams fighting, you see a couple knocks pop up in the kill feed, and you and your team go and you all engage in the fight. Typically, the first thing and the third thing are the best ways to go about fighting, right? Catching somebody when you have better positioning, or third partying, because again, you are in the best position possible to succeed in both of those fights. Now let's briefly talk about how to fight in those moments, okay? And I will give you this philosophy. You want to single out one enemy at a time and have a plan of attack, you know? So what I like to do, whether if I'm third partying or I'm going to engage in a fight, is I try to get an idea of what the 2 or 3 players are, you know, what characters they're playing, you know? Let's say, for example, it's a Bloodhound, a Wraith, and a Lifeline, okay? To me, public enemy number 1 is going to be Lifeline. Why? Because of her ability to res a down teammate and still engage in battle. That has to go. Yeah. Lifeline, you gotta go. Sorry, you gotta be public enemy number 1. So we try to wait for an opening for Lifeline. If not, then of course we will try to take out Bloodhound or take out Wraith. To me, Wraith is the least on the threat level, in my opinion, in that type of fight, because Bloodhound can give recon, Lifeline can res teammates and still fight. Wraith can escape with her portal, but I would rather them escape and disengage than cause us trouble. You know what I mean? So in that instance, if I'm playing with friends or even if I'm playing with randoms, I might spam ping that Lifeline, right? And I'll go ahead and take shots. And typically when you're playing with randoms and you begin taking shots and your randoms are right there with you, they'll begin to shoot at the same opposition as well. At least the randoms that I've played with. There are some that won't, and it'll frustrate you, but that's totally fine. You know, they will shoot with you more times than not. Hopefully you all can get a knock in that position and you all can knock the Lifeline. Now, right away, it's a 2v3 situation and they're on the defense. In Apex Legends, whenever a team is on the defense, they are in the worst position possible, unless they're playing a character like Gibraltar, Caustic, Watson, characters that can defend, or that were made for defending, I should say. But even then, you are still in the best position possible to win the gunfight, because they have to retreat. They have to go off in a closed area or a tight-knit area to set up Watson fences or caustic traps, things like that. If you all are out in the open or in an open space, you all still have a huge advantage, and you all have the best opportunity possible to wipe the opposing team. Now, I want to talk about what to do in standstills, because I don't see many people do this, right? A standstill is when it's your team versus the other team, right? You all are just shooting, breaking armor, healing, shooting, breaking armor, healing, and that happens for a minute or 2, right? In that situation, if the enemy team has not given you an opening, right, you or your teammates have no opportunity to break in an entry frag, right, because the enemy team has a sniper, right, they're just really looking, they're moving, like, you all have no opportunity to, you know, really knuckle up and really decide who's gonna win this fight. then my advice to you all would be to disengage, right? Disengage, because in Apex Legends, it's also known as third-party legends for a reason, okay? If you all engage in a gunfight longer than 30 seconds, I can promise you there is another team ready to pull up on them or on you. And if they pull up on you, you are pinched. So you have a decision to make. Either you fight the team that rode up on you and get clapped by the team you were in the standstill by, or vice versa, you know? The only time you can escape a situation like that is if you have an escape legend, right? Preferably Valk, because Valk can get you all out of that position to reset and live to fight another day. Octane can be a little bit risky because you can get beamed from the jump pad. Wraith, still pretty good, pretty useful in that situation, but I think Valk is the best character to play to get you out of a sticky situation like that if it is a standstill. But let's say you don't have any of those characters. Then after 30 seconds, you got to make a decision. Either you all find a way to entry frag and get busy like right away, or you all got to get out of there. If you don't do either or, you're back to the lobby. And look, I hate to say it like that, but I gotta be blunt, I gotta be honest, and I gotta be truthful from my own experience, you know? Now, real quick, I wanna talk about how to third party, because again, this is something I don't see many people tap on. And it's a lot simpler than you would think, okay? So whenever I'm third party and I'm playing with my homies, I always look at the kill feed, right? If it's a fight happening in front of me, right, 3v3, I always wait for 2 knocks to go down, okay? Because a couple things happen when 2 knocks go down, right? It can be 2 people on the same team. It can be 1 person on each team. Either way, I'm in the best position possible, right? So when I see 2 knocks pop up, boom, we go fly it and we go get busy, right? And a couple things can happen here, right? Let's say it was 2 knocks on the same team. So now the teams fighting are in a 1v3 situation. We fly in, we kill that third person. Now it's a head up 3v3 situation. But the thing is, we're completely healthy. They may not be healthy, right? So it's an unfair 3v3 that we have a better chance of winning. Now, on the flip side, let's say it was 1 knock on each team, right? 2v2 situation. Now it's a 3v2v2. As we're pushing in, we can easily wipe both teams, right? Because again, both of them are probably not healthy, right? They were in a standoff and their focus is not even geared towards us. So we're in a position when we fly in, we should be able to get a knock or 2 right away. You know what I'm saying? We should be able to lock in, focus up, as I mentioned before, find that 1 person to team shot and put that cat in the dirt. And then it's a 1v2v3. And in situations like that, oh my gosh, they are beautiful. So beautiful, unless you choke it. And guess what? You will choke some fights from time to time. I do. Everybody I have ever seen Apex Legends chokes fights from time to time. But if you want to be in the best position possible, wait to see 2 knocks on the kill feed before you go in and get busy. Now, in some cases, you might be kill hungry or you all are just vibing and you see 1 knock on the kill feed. If that's the case, by all means, do your thing, right? But judge the situation based off of your confidence, based off of positioning, and based off of what you all think you can do, right? If you all think off of 1 knock, you all can go in there and wipe both teams, do it. I'm never gonna stop you, especially if you're feeling good. You got the momentum. You guys have already wiped a couple of teams. Do it. I mean, Apex Legends is a momentum-based game. I say send it. Why not? But if you all have been kind of creeping around the map, fighting to survive, repositioning here and there, disengaging from fights left and right, that third party might not be in your best interest. Now that we've discussed weapons, characters, abilities, all under that umbrella, let's talk about looting real quick. And what is looting, okay? Looting is simply when you pick up a weapon, a heal, a throwable, anything that could be located in the ground, or excuse me, on the ground or in somebody's death box, okay? And more so, I want to talk about real quick what to prioritize, okay? You always want to prioritize a weapon before armor, okay? If you have the choice to land on an R99 or a blue armor, land on the R99, okay? Because if somebody lands on the armor with no weapon, you land on the R99, a weapon, you have an opportunity to put damage on that person, if not one clip them, right? Because they have 175 health. And in doing so, you upgrade your white armor to blue armor, right? See what I'm doing here? You don't even need to pick it up because you can earn that blue armor, right? If they're running, trying to look for a weapon and you chase them down and you don't one clip them, but you just keep laying damage on them until you get the knock, you're in a way better position even though you don't have the higher armor. Then what you can do is either upgrade yours, of course, to blue if you get the knock, or take the armor off their dead body. Another good thing to know is how to loot after a fight, okay? After a fight, let's say, for example, you have a downed teammate, all right? What you want to do is get off an armor swap as soon as possible if you're cracked, all right? Let's pretend you're cracked, you have a purple armor, but y'all won the fight, your teammate is down, your other teammate is healthy, and they're going about their merry way, you know? What you want to do is find an armor swap, even if it's a white or a blue, because what that does is give you an instant 50 to 75 extra shield. You need that, okay, before you go get the res. Because if you go get the res and you're cracked and a team comes up and third parties you all, then there's going to be 2 knocked, and now you put your teammate in a 1v3 situation. So you always want to prioritize an armor swap, or if you're feeling really good, really frisky, what you do is go into a box, you grab that armor, drop it by your downed teammate, put your armor back on, and then get the res. So when they get up, they have an instant armor swap, right? You do this if you know the third party is right around the corner and you're doing a risky revive, you know what I'm saying? So keep those type of things in mind for sure as you play and as you progress. The last thing I want to talk about in regards to looting when the third party is on the way is, look, when that is coming, you can't loot the way you want to. You need to be able to grab 1 to 2 things, whether if it is a stack of ammo and or a heal, right? Whether if it's straight attachments, whatever, know in your head what you need to prioritize. Grab it and get on out of there, because if third party is coming, they're going to have advantage by ADSing around the corner, already focusing you, whatever the case may be. So you want to be in the best position possible to grab what you need to grab, rotate out of there, or reset and get ready for that next fight. The next thing I want to talk to you all about is rotations, okay? And I'm simplifying rotations here. Now, if you don't know what a rotation is when you strategically go from one POI to the next to make sure you're safe inside the ring as the storm comes and collapses and makes the ring smaller, okay? Now, first rule of thumb is never find yourself in the heart of the circle. That's just asking for death, all right? You might ask me why? Why don't I want to be in the middle of the circle? Isn't that the safest place to be? You would think on paper it is, right? But the reality of the situation is you are public enemy number 1 if you're in the middle. If you are smack dab in the middle of the circle, then that means every other team that is rotating in, right? So let's pretend there are 10 teams left and they're all rotating into the circle from the edge, right? You are going to be spotted by 9 different teams. There are going to be 9 different teams, well, potentially 9 different teams that can see exactly where you are. And guess what? Once one team starts shooting, another one will start shooting, another one will start shooting, another one will start shooting, and then that 5th team is going to push you all while you are distracted, getting peppered by those other 4 teams, and you're out of here, right? Happens all too often. The way you want to rotate is you want to always try to find yourself on the edge of the ring to a degree, right? That way you aren't the focus, you aren't the center point, what the heck? You aren't the focal point, that's the word I was thinking of. And on top of that, you can gatekeep others trying to rotate into the ring, right? And for those that don't know, gatekeeping is when you're safely inside the ring and another team is not. They have the storm on their back and they're trying to get into the ring. You can go ahead, look down at them, take shots, hopefully get a knock or 2, and then clean up that last person as they enter the ring. Gatekeeping is a great way to be able to secure knocks, kills, and get rid of teams left and right as you hold the edge. Now, I do know there are certain situations where you cannot stay really on the edge of the ring, right? It's not feasible because the ring might be too small or it's awkwardly placed where there isn't enough viable cover. And if that happens, you have to adjust accordingly, right? You have to use your brain how to make this rotate. You might have to do a late rotate, which is when the storm is on your back and you're creeping into the ring, right? You might have to do an early rotate to try to get to that cover as soon as possible. And you might be in the middle of the ring. If that's the case, sometimes so be it. In those in-game situations, you gotta do what you gotta do to survive. And guess what? If the ring is not on your back and it's on the opposition's, you're in a better position to survive, get knocks, and possibly win the game. The last thing I want to leave you all with in regards to things I want you all to keep in mind is about the final fight, okay? Now, this is where a lot of people lose the game, you know? I've seen many people, including myself, when I started playing Apex Legends, I could always get to the top 3 or the top 2, you know, but I just could not secure the dub, all right? Now, you might be asking, Cray, why is that? What's the problem? You know, I would say the first problem was a lack of confidence, you know, a lack in my ability to be able to take out the remaining team or the remaining 2 teams, right? And again, as I mentioned before, Apex Legends is a game about confidence. If you don't have confidence that you can win your 1v1s or you can get the knock and make it a handicap, whatever the case may be, then you're screwed, right? If your hands get sweaty, armpits get sweaty, you're nervous because it's you versus the last team, then you're not in the best situation possible, right? So what I've learned to do is, well, now since I played for a while, it doesn't happen as much, but if I'm a newcomer, what I would start doing is taking a deep breath, you know? keeping my face nice and lax, not being wide-eyed and locked in and just tense, you know, because all that does is trigger those nerves. We don't want those. We want to be chill, laid back. We want to play the game as if there's still 20 other teams on the map. You know what I'm saying? If we play like that, we play like we played in early game, in mid game, then we should win the last fight just like we won the few fights prior. You know what I'm saying? So mentality is the biggest thing. On the other hand, if we're talking technicalities, I would say the biggest thing about winning that final fight is focus on getting the first knock. You know, if you have to coordinate a team shot, right? If you have to be the entry fragger, whatever you can do to get that first knock and get the fight jumping, do it. Because as I mentioned before, whenever you put the opposition on defense, you are in the best position to win. Whenever a team is always retreating and you're always advancing, you are in the power position. They're not focusing on shooting back. They're focusing on regaining cover, on protecting their remaining teammates, things of that nature, right? You're focusing on one thing, getting a kill. You're utilizing abilities, grenades, guns, all they're doing is running, you know? So you're in the best position possible to win that fight. In some cases, they might try to barricade up in the building with a caustic, with a Watson, somebody like that. But now, with a character like Mad Maggie in the game, if you're rocking her, you can go ahead and do some trickle damage, right? You can use her, I believe it's called the Riot Drill. Don't quote me on that, but you can use that to burn people through walls and to create another entry point to get another knock. If you get that second knock, 1v3 situation, you all know how that's going to end. GG's, you all are the Apex champions. And folks, that's all I have for you in today's video, in today's Ultimate Apex Beginner's Guide. I laid it out for you all, so I hope you all enjoyed. I hope you all learned a thing or two. I'm tired of the sun glaring in my face. Has been doing this the entirety of the video, but I did that for y'all. I love y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed this, slap the sub button. More Apex Legends and overall gaming content to come in the near future. Stay humble, be blessed, remain relentless. I'll catch you all in the next video.